Financial Matters webinar series brought to you by Finance Leap, where we financially learn, be inspired, and perform. And today we are going to focus on a topic that was demanded by you following our last webinar, which was taxation opportunities and challenges. And today we narrowed it down to taxation for startups and SMEs. How to register, file, pay, and remain tax compliant. And today we are very honored with distinguished personalities to lead us into this topic. Before I introduce them, in the audience, we have entrepreneurs, we have business people, we have academia, we have students, we have professionals. You are warmly welcome. We are excited to see that you have tuned in and you are in time for the webinar. Allow me to introduce our panelists today. We have panelists CPA, Chartered Public Accountant, Pream Christina Muhabuzi. She's a team leader, UPLEX and Associates, and she's delighted to be here because she deals with many taxpayers, small, medium, and large. And when this opportunity came to interact with the people, she was very excited to be with us. I'm Charles Varugahare, the founder of Finance Leap program and your moderator this evening. Christina.
Yes, please.
Kindly say hi to the people. As you do that, hint on something very small. Many people are scared about taxes to an extent that someone once said that the only constant in life is death and taxes. What do you say about that?
Well, my name is Christina Pream Muhabuzi. I'm a team leader, UPLEX and Associates. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. So to talk about or to add on that, people say taxes outlive, is it outlive people? What was the last statement you made?
The most constant in life are taxes and death.
Taxes and death. That is true. Death, everyone is aware. At one point, you will go. You're not going to live here for 1,000 years. You will, your time will come, and then in some way you will live this life. Then for taxes, you outlive them. Taxes are something that will live on even after your death. The taxman will still come and wants to take over some things if you have not been compliant. So I think that explains that saying.
Wonderful, wonderful. Christina.
Yes, please.
Many startups and SMEs fear registering for taxes. I hope you have seen some of them who fear even thinking about taxes. What do you tell them? How do you advise them to make sure that this becomes part of the new normal, the new life that we have to deal with?
Thank you, Mr. or Dr. Yarugahari. Taxes, I don't really understand why business owners or entrepreneurs fear taxes. Because just like you pay rent on a daily, it is a cost like anything else. It is a cost that you have to add in your budget. And people have, I think this is a perception, something that has lived day by day, year by year. after people seeing, okay, this person, you know, they have run out of business, or this person's assets have been taken over by URA, people have seen big companies fall because of taxes, they get that perception that, okay, taxes are not that easy. But taxes don't have to be hard. You make it hard. If you choose to see taxes as a competitive advantage, it will not become heavy on you as you expect. If you put it in your plan, it will be as easy as ABC. Yes.
Okay, building from that, when you heard first about taxes, how did you feel? How did it make you feel? Because now as a professional, it may no longer be that touching the weight touched you at first. How did you feel? Because that may be the same feeling people have around taxes.
My first, as I was studying, I enjoyed tax as a subject.
Wow.
But what caught my attention was what was happening to the people. I enjoyed tax, I knew how to apply it, I knew what to do. Because I know taxes can actually get you to lose sleep and lose your peace completely. So the first time I had an understanding, or what took me into helping people or creating awareness, was one time there was this old man. He was working downtown in Chikugo. This man had an accountant. You know those days of I think 2015, 2016. The system was not to date. It was a bit lagging. People never knew what to do. They would even actually get their payment for taxes and give it to their accountants. So you're giving this accountant, but how much are you trusting your accountant with the money for the government? So people never knew that. So people would pay their accountants, and the accountants would choose to do what they want with their money. So you never got to know whether you've paid taxes or not, because you actually even never had your TIN in your email. So with that, people, accountants would not pay, and the business owners never got to know because they could not access their TIN, their emails, the contact details of their TIN. So they got no messages, and they were still comfortable with that. So this gentleman, I think that was around tax fraud investigation, and that was around in Kololo. This gentleman was arrested, and URA closed his businesses, his bank accounts. I remember this gentleman came down. I was there. I had gone to advocate for some clients of mine. This gentleman knelt down and told the taxman, please, I have been compliant. Please do not lock my shops. Please, I have children. I have a family. What am I going to do? I've been paying. And indeed, he was paying. But he was not aware of the right taxes to pay, of even what to do. But all he knew is he was paying the accountant who was filing for him that time. So when I saw this gentleman, I saw him in the picture of my father. And he was a Muslim man. I was so touched.
I start to feel it.
I said, no, from here I am going to advocate for the people. Actually, to create awareness with taxes. That is where I start. I left URA and came to the field.
Oh. Okay. Now, many people out there from the last webinar were concerned with the issue of how do I, as an individual, as a small startup, as an SME, how can I go about registering for taxes to get a TIN number?
First of all, I always advise business owners, sit down, think of exactly what you want. Do you want, which kind of business do you want? A sole proprietorship? Do you want a partnership? Is it an NGO? Is it a company limited by shares? You have to know the kind of business you need to register. After understanding, because that alone, it exposes you to taxes and also liabilities. So you need to know, where do I fall? If it is a small business, where am I supposed to register get to know the pricing model, get to know the estimated costs. Only that is going to give you an estimate of how much you're spending in your business. So that alone will give you that understanding. Is this the tax that is imposed on me, is it worth it or not? Because you will know exactly what comes in and out. You will understand your income streams and so on. Then from there, you need to have a bank account. When you have a bank account, you will not mix your personal money with your business money. So you need that bank account whereby you have to make sure that all your transactions, as long as they are connected to your business, pass through the business account. And kindly, please, let your personal money pass through your personal account. Otherwise, when you mix, most cases, you are even charges that money, will tax that money, yet that is your personal money from maybe other fields. Then from that, have your TIN registered with the right tax. With the right tax, you need to know which one am I supposed to register. Am I ready for VAT, which is value added tax? Am I ready for income tax? You need to know, of course, if you have a business, income tax is a must. But other taxes, you have to know, do I have employees? Then let me register for pay as you earn. So you need to understand what taxes am I supposed to register, which kind of business have I registered, so that you fall in the right lane. So with that, you need to file on time. After knowing the type of taxes, because we have a number of taxes. We have pay as you earn, which is payee. We have value added tax, which is VAT. We have income tax, which is business income. We have withholding tax, which comes from either 6% of VAT or which other one? I'm forgetting. 6% of VAT or supplier. Which other tax is there? It's actually getting in.
There is withholding tax. There is service tax like for hotels. Various.
So there are various type of taxes. So with that, you need to know.
There. Many people that I have interacted with highlight that one of the challenges, the tax, and when the revenue authority comes, they are not able to reconcile with them on understanding that they are supposed to pay certain types of taxes, but what they perceived that they would be paying is not actually the tax. So what are the common mistakes and that happen at registration, and how can they be avoided?
So at registration, people register wrong taxes. I can give you an example of Alex Nzei, a recent case that actually gave URA a headache. Alex registered for wrong taxes, and that is why. Sorry, it was Amos Nzei. Yeah, Amos registered for he had a wrong type of tax. So because he was registered for that type of tax, URA assumed actually he earns this income, maybe he is into real estate. But the gentleman was not. He was simply selling a piece of land that he had for a long time. So registering for wrong type of taxes is where, I think earlier I told you that you have to know what is the type of tax I'm supposed to register for. For example, for sole proprietors, you're supposed to register for business income. If you hit the threshold of 150 million, you're supposed to register for value added tax. This is non-negotiable. No matter how small you are, whether you're an individual or company, as long as you hit the threshold of 150, you're supposed to register for VAT. So you need to know what to register and at what time. If you go into importation and exportation, you need to register for that type of tax so that you pay for that tax. So with that, one of the things that actually, where you find people are not agreeing with the type of tax, estimated tax their URA has estimated for them. These people file late. They are not compliant. So at the end of the day, if you're not compliant, what is the punishment? You get a penalty, you get interest. So you will sit back and you know, silence is a total killer. By the time you wake up, a person who had a small business, URA is telling you they're demanding over 300 million, which you don't know about. Why? They have been contacting you through your emails and you're quiet. You even have a CRM who is a customer relationship manager, but you do not use these people. If you file your returns and you feel like your supplier or your contractor has taken long to pay you, inform your CRM and tell them, please do not penalty me. I have filed on time, but the payment is going to come at this particular time. Please use your CRMs because these are the people who are going to cause chaos when URA taxes them for the non-compliance.
Dear listeners and viewers, those who have just joined in, our topic of attention is taxation for startups and SMEs. And with us here is Madam Christina navigating us through this topic. We are deep down into how to file, how to register, how to pay, and how to remain tax compliant. Now, Madam Christina, the people down there in Chikubo, somebody who started with a smaller lockup, it grew into now some sizable shop in Chikubo. How does he or she know which type of tax to register?
Someone from, you see, URA, you see, our everyday people, they don't want to understand these things. And what you don't want to understand, you will not understand. But if you, dear listeners, if your business means anything to you, if you fear losing your business, and you have really invested a lot in your business, kindly help yourself. By learning and making sure you're aware about what is happening in the tax world. Because like Mr. Barugahare said earlier, taxes are going to live on and on and on. So you have no choice but to simply abide. So what they have to do, URA is creating education moments every time. They're educating people in different areas. We are here, we are trying to create awareness. Dr. Barugahare is here, I am here, and many other people who are trying to create awareness. Even when you want them in your local language, you can get a translator. But make sure you understand your business well as you understand your taxes, and you maintain those books of accounts. Maintain your records so that you're able to pay the right taxes. Otherwise, you cause pressure for yourself for no good reason. These are small matters that can be solved. Yes.
Now, Christina.
Yes, sir.
People out there, some of them started businesses. They realized businesses had grown without paying taxes. Right now, they are still operating informally. They fear if they go and they report that we want to register and start paying, they are likely to be taken backwards and they will be penalized and punished. What do you tell them when they are in that kind of situation?
So you're into the financial world. When you look at such an individual or person or business owner, is it better to report early or later?
Yeah, that is the question. Because he's there, he has been getting some money, not paying.
Ask yourself, is it better to report now or later? Because I've always told you there is something they call an EHAB. The taxman is looking at you in all angles. They know how much you spend. They are analyzing your mobile details, mobile money, your bank details. Like everywhere your money is passing, URA is there and looking at you like this. And they're waiting for the right time to strike. So the only thing you have to do right now is register. If they find out something, well and good. If they don't, And you can also negotiate. These are normal human beings who do understand. Sit down and negotiate with a taxman. Dear taxpayers, we have laws that protect us. We have rights and obligations. Sit down, negotiate with these people. And you tell them, okay, this is what happened. You know, ignorance is no defense. So come as early as you can and make sure you stay compliant. Otherwise, you will lose everything even when you don't know. These people track even up to lands, Ministry of Lands, is it? They track your assets, they track whichever piece of land you've bought, they track everything. It is just a matter of time until they get you. There are a lot of cases that have happened, so you make the choice. That one, I will not even tell people. Everybody will have their own personal experience, and they're the same people who will come out and tell us what happened.
All right. Now, you have assured us that URA, once you bring yourself, they are human beings, they will listen, they will be able to guide you, they will be able to support you. And I think that's an important point for us to take. Now, Madam Christina.
Yes, sir.
One of the things that disturb small and medium-sized companies are how to keep records and what kind of records to keep. So, if you were, as they are looking at us, what would you tell them on terms of the kind of records that they can actually start to keep, the small and medium-sized enterprises?
Okay. Thank you for that question. What I would advise small SMEs, small and medium enterprises, is I would say have a file for every transaction you make. Whether purchases, whether sales, all invoices, or even those expenses you make. For example, you've taken a border to somewhere, or you are an engineer and then you've hired somewhere and you have no proof. Get a payment voucher, note down that amount and then claim it from the company. But that expense will have proof. Don't spend money on airtime, on transport, on a lot of different things. You incur these expenses, so you must record them, and then they remain there as proof. Anything that has no records, that has no defense, the URA cannot accept. Everything is proved by saying, you had an expense in 2020, what is the proof that it was there? If you cannot prove them, that is out. So have your payment vouchers, have your invoices, have your receipt books, or even you can keep both digital and physical copies to help you navigate through these tax matters.
Tax matters.
Yes.
Because the taxman will only look at your records, look at your transactions. So keep the key records. They are the most important to help in assessing and in determining the type of taxes to pay. Madam Christina,
Yes.
small businesses have no capacity to get a qualified accountant, to get a professional because they cannot afford to pay him or her. How can they go about paying their taxes in a small way without the help of an accountant or a professional and do it on their own? Because they earn very little from their small business, but they have to comply and pay tax. How can they go about that in their small way, on their own?
So I think that is a big number in Uganda. We have a lot of information everywhere. You people, we have resources everywhere. On YouTube, URA is actually educating you in Luganda, in Swahili, in Runyankore, languages you easily can understand. What you do is follow up with what they are saying. Make sure you understand. Then get yourself you can use Excel. You can buy a system. These systems are not expensive. Get a system. Find someone cheap to take you through how this system works. For example, we have QuickBooks. They can take you through slowly by slowly. And then you learn these systems. They will give you a realistic figure. And then the taxman will estimate based on your records. You don't have to do it yourself. They will come and estimate for you. But if you have your records, the better. Without records, it's actually a higher rate. I think that is simple. Have I answered you? Have I answered them?
So a small trader in Chikubo, a small trader in Chanja needs some sophisticated kind of small software that they can actually use to make sure that they pay taxes. Isn't that asking too much for the taxpayer, for the small business owner?
The small business owner actually make a lot of money, honestly. They can go to the bank and bank a lot of money. They can get machines to pull out these receipts, and yet they are small. They can still save something small to get them a long-term and sustainable solution. Yes, they make some reasonable money, at least to leave their business organized.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much. We have just been joined by Madam Hafsah Seguya. You are warmly welcome.
Thank you, sir.
To Finance Leap.
Yes.
And our topic of discussion today is taxation for startups and SMEs. And in the audience, we have business owners, we have the academia, we have entrepreneurs, we have those people thinking about starting businesses. We have students, we have board members. They are all eagerly waiting to hear from you. Madam Hafsah Seguya is the team lead tax education, Uganda Revenue Authority, in charge of Central Region. So you can see we have all tax matters in terms of Central Region all with us here this evening, and all your questions will be answered. And to highlight this follow-up webinar followed the previous webinar where you people raised a number of questions. And today we are honored to have distinguished ladies to deal with those questions. So to bring it to speed and greet the people, but also as you greet the people, answer this one. Many startups and SMEs struggle with cash flow. They struggle sometimes to make payments, including for URA. And when that happens, and URA is on the door, URA even goes and knocks and closes the door because they have not paid their taxes. Is there a better way we can do that?
Thank you so much. Good evening. Hafsah Seguya is my name. As I've been introduced, I basically address tax education matters, challenges within our taxpayers and the country at large. I am obliged to be here this evening to see that we can learn together, dissect tax matters where challenges, most of the challenges come from the small and medium. Maybe I would say that because one, when you look at the small ones, they are predominantly operating in cash and they are nomadic in nature. Keeping records at times may be a little tricky on their side because whenever you talk about keeping records, what comes into their mind is I'm going to hire an expert. But we have a system for the small businesses, those who may not be good at keeping records. For starters, they could give us a presumptive return, which may not require a lot detail, because it basically looks at how much you have been able to source in a given year, so that you can start your compliance with the baby steps. Then as you proceed, you can see how to expand on your record keeping. Because what we normally tell them, you do not need to bring any expert. It is like you have your receipt book, you can write whatever has come in, and whenever you expense, kindly ask for a receipt yourself. That can also work. You can even get accountable for expenses that actually cannot be receipted, yet they are business expenses. And so that at the end of the day, at least you can mimic a picture, because it's very clear that when one does not make at least 10 million and above in a given year as gross sales, they won't give me any tax. However, they need to paint the picture in a return. Because this return, apart from me collecting taxes, it's an information document that helps me understand you better. And by the way, if they are filing the ordinary return, it also helps me know where you have expensed and with who, how much, so that I use this return to check the other return, the persons you've dealt with. And maybe even what we would like to inform viewers or listeners this evening is this year 2025-26, there is an amendment that is meant to make life a little easier for those startups that will have registered from 1st July 2025 and onwards to at least enjoy a 3 years tax relief. But it has conditions. It's not that all that registers. We are looking at entities whereby they are owned by citizens. And to me, a citizen is one who originates from any of the East African countries where we have a collaboration under that arrangement. I would probably mention Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania, Rwanda, Burundi, South Sudan. Such countries are the ones I am looking at, and you should have an investment capital that does not exceed 500 million. However, you should have the capacity to file a business information return, not the other presumptive return. So all in all, it pushes you to at least graduate from the presumptive return and get on to the normal business information return. So at least I think with that, if those that have registered after 1st July this year, if they at least if they are onto it, they can see how to benefit for the next coming 3 years. Definitely it hasn't encompassed those who have been around. It is basically looking at those that have been newly registered, whereby if somebody registered in July, I think they're about 2 months old in their business by now. So that means that all I will first need is a provisional return by the 30th of September, if that's an individual, by 30th of September 2025. That is the first return I will be waiting for. Then as we proceed in the year, maybe the final return will come in handy when the year ends. Yes, if you're benefiting from a tax relief, that does not mean you shouldn't file. File and draw that picture for me. I need this return for the information it has, so that I can be able to do some other work. You still have the obligation to file, but the relief is on the payment.
The relief is on the payment.
Let me interrupt
Exactly.
a bit. First of all, how are you?
Hafsah
I
is my name.
had not seen you, Hafsah.
You know, I came when you had already started, and I was wondering how to interject.
So the part where now these new startups have to register, most of them are actually wondering, they have given them something like a benefit, something that is so good actually for Ugandans over for 3 years, but again, they don't know how to navigate or which information URA needs, how to do about it, how to, you know.
It's the normal registration one has to do. When we are looking at business formalization, it all starts with Uganda Registration Services Bureau. Kindly register that business name, or you incorporate that company, whatever it is. At least the certificate of incorporation or the certificate of registration should have a date that is after 1st July 2025. That is the first thing. So as you formalize, then from there you need to register for taxes, so that your TIN certificate ideally tells us that it was effective a date after 1st July 2025. Then you start business normally. Then as we proceed, definitely we will be, because it's a new amendment that has come in. That means entities are just registering now. We may not have a lot that has registered, but they're just registering now. Then as we proceed, definitely we'll be guiding them along the way as we get there, because we are basically also waiting for them, because registration depends on one. You can't tell them, come now and register. I register as and when I feel I'm ready to do everything that it takes.
Now, Madam Christina, the people out there, given that you are in practice, are looking forward to something that they can use as a checklist to guide them on the things they can look out for in preparing for filing tax returns. What are some of the things that you can, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that you can say, you need to have this, you need to have this, so that when you have those, you are ready now to file your return?
Thank you, Dr. Charles. So let me start with our startups. Those costs, license costs, registration costs, those costs is where you have to start. In a nutshell, let me actually put it like this. You must maintain proper books of accounts records. Every record, keep every record, because you will need it, and in a very organized way. For me, I don't know whether I have to say this or this. Have your records well kept, knowing these are your purchases, these are your sales, every single record, so that you're able to file your returns, because these returns, they need to be informed. They need to be, you have to fill in the template. So for example, for these medium enterprises, you have to do a financial statement, and all that information, a provisional income return. You have to estimate. So you must have these financial statements in place, so that you have filled it with your records, and then you use that record, which you will use to fill in the template for the taxman. Okay. So you have to start with having your records, then of course reconciling your bank and cash, having all your information in one place, and then you use it to fill in your returns, and also for the taxman to use.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Madam Hafsah, in the questions we received in the last webinar, one of the questions was, a number of startups and SMEs go and import goods from abroad. They reach here, they find the taxes they are supposed to pay are too high, and they are stuck with them. They don't have the money to pay. They end up being guided. Isn't indirectly, if you auction them, killing their business directly? Madam Hafsah.
Thank you so much. And start with importing, because as you're trying to figure out yourself, it's rare that you will import. Most likely you will be purchasing within the country as you stabilize. But in the event that you have a feeling that you need to import, one, you have to make sure you have your own tin. Then two, at least before you import, you can come to us and at least ask us, if I'm bringing such a shirt with cotton this percentage and polyester this percentage, and I hope to bring it in this month, because even the exchange rate matters. And I expect to bring maybe these dozens. Mimic for me what the taxes could be. So that by the time you leave, you have a figure in your head. That means by the time you leave, half of what might be the tax is already, you already have it. So that by the time you come, it's easy to source the balance and pay taxes. And secondly, as we are clearing goods on import duty, we have different regimes in customs. We have the warehousing regime. If actually you feel that you can't pay the whole amount, you could request to pay in piecemeal. So that what you pay for is what we release. What you pay for is what you release, but you have to make sure your goods are within, we keep them within the warehousing period. The first warehousing period we give you is 90 days, that's 3 months. If actually you feel you haven't completed the payment, but you are still at it, you can request for an extension, then we give you an extension. But at least you should not exceed 270 days. Because, I mean, we need to create space in the warehouses for others to put in their goods. And secondly, when the regime expires, the only thing we need to do is to auction. So by the time we auction, we've given you all these provisions. Kindly ask for an extension. We can still warehouse as you're trying to solicit for the resources to pay your taxes. By the time at least you go through all that, sincerely, we have been fair enough. Because we extend up to 270 days, you cannot say that. It's close to a year, you can't say that sincerely. We haven't made any provision for you. At least if we can communicate to you and we hear from you, we know that actually you're at it. But there are people who put their items in the warehouse and they abandon them.
They go silent.
And we try to communicate. The contact on the tin is not available. If they came in groupage, we contact the container lead or the consolidator. They don't know where to get that person. Wherever they were working from, they even made it worse and shifted. So at times, that's why we put public notices in the papers, calling you that if you have goods in the bond, we are giving you this number of days to sort yourself. If they expire, we'll have no choice. We'll only need to auction them. Because when we are auctioning them, URA is not in business to sell items. What we want is to recover the taxes. So we basically look at the tax component and maybe a little small fee for the auctioneer who has done the work, because ideally we need to pay the auctioneer when we involve them. Yes.
Dear viewers and listeners, we are almost less than 15 minutes to the end of this webinar. I will invite comments, questions from the audience so that we are able then to respond to them. The people are here, they are able to clarify and have your questions answered. As we get through some of the questions.
Maybe there's something
Yes.
I needed to add on the records when you asked her the records they need to keep. Because it is very clear that when you're keeping your records, when an expense exceeds 5 million in a given transaction, we request that expense to come on a document that has a TIN. If the document doesn't have a TIN, then we may disallow. And maybe the other thing we need to be clear with when we are talking about record keeping, we should make it very clear these are business expenses. We have to make a distinction in between your personal expenses and business expenses, because one will tell you that, you know, when I come to work, I have to eat a meal and I go to a restaurant. Ideally, that's not a business expense. The best you can do is to give yourself a salary. Then operate within the salary, eat your food, do everything, go to the gym, go to the spa, do everything. Fit within there. But when you start saying that I ate food, you may not eat food of 3,000. Whenever you eat, you may bring a receipt of 50 or 45. Ideally, you look at the business and wonder, if this business hasn't yet realized any profits, where do you get the audacity to even eat food of all that much? Then at the end of the day, you're claiming it as a business expense. You know, one lie leads to another. Yes, I might accept it, but I look and say, really? Because when you are flagging losses, then, I mean, how do you start? This is how do you start eating to that tune? That's not the only business expense. You have rent, you have trading license, you have salaries of those who you employ. There is a lot more that you have operating costs here and there that have to happen. So at the end of the day, we are looking at expenses that without them, this business will not move. If you don't pay for a license, they will close. If you don't pay for rent, they will close because the premises. If you do not pay salaries, then whoever you're employing will not come back to work for you. There are those that are must do. But when you don't eat, we even fast. And we go and eat from home.
There is
Exactly.
a scenario.
No, my faith. Say I'm in Ramadan. I'm fasting for 30 days. I will eat at 7. By the time it clocks 7,
So-
I'm at home.
But Madam Hafsah, let me put it like this. If I go out in a restaurant and I have a meeting, a business meeting,
A business meeting is okay
changes.
because it can't come every day. And a business meeting is very clear, depending on the nature of business. Because you could have a business meeting and ideally it shoots into you're a consultant, you're struggling to get a certain project, you need to meet the officials on the other side. It makes sense when you explain it. But you cannot be a retailer. And you have a business meeting. I'm wondering what you're discussing in the business meeting that is facilitating. You know, it has to make sense to you even before you flag it to me, for me to believe you, because these records communicate. It's like the return communicating that, look here, you are this is my team for this period. This is how I've fared. You're communicating to me to see, what do I expect? Do I expect any payment from there? Was it a loss? It is okay. And by the way, it's okay for you to file a return when there is no payment. But provided what you have filed is authentic enough that when I come back to do a return examination, it makes sense. Because ideally in business, you don't deal alone. You must have dealt with that person there. Your expense is somebody else's income. So when I cross-check, it has to make some sense.
Okay.
Yes.
Madam Hafsah, many people out there fear you are particularly small, medium and sized enterprises and startups. How can we build a strong, positive relationship with URA so that when a URA official passes through this building, you don't see people closing and taking off? Because I have seen it happen. And it is very painful. Madam Hafsah, how do we create this confidence? Or what is creating this fear?
True,
That you
because
can deal with?
where we've reached, at least we are somewhere. It was worse then,
Those days.
those years back, 10 or so more years. But we have tried to work on that. Continuous engaging, the continuous engaging, so that when you call that person, the topic is not pay that tax. The topic is how are you? How are you faring? I haven't received the other return. Do you have a challenge? Can we help you? Is there a knowledge gap? Or do you even know that you have to file the return? I am requesting for, I'm waiting for this end. How best can we help you? We are trying to be there, but we have to be cognizant of the fact that we are dealing with human beings. There are those who appreciate that, but there are those who just closed. That if it is tax, saga la
Don't
kumanya,
want to know.
whatever it is, I just don't want to listen. Even though you're saying, hello, how are you? Thank you for paying the other 200,000. We received it. They just don't want to know. So it's a two-way, but we do it continuously. We do it continuously to see that actually we are in their faces, but we are not in their faces because we are collecting. And continuous engagement, even leveraging on the stakeholders we have. Because ideally when we have tried it and it has equally worked, when you start from the stakeholder approach, these people believe in them a lot, like the associations. By the time you call them, at least they have some confidence that ideally it's good to go in that engagement. So either way, we are trying all sides to see that at least we are there. And maybe the other thing we've started is including taxation in the curriculum. We are looking at it in the secondary school curriculum, in the university institutions, BTVETs, the vocational training institutes, so that by the time this person gets out, they appreciate that tax is there. There is no government that will survive without taxes. At least the resistance will be reduced, because when I'm speaking to somebody, at least who has an idea, it's not that I'm reinventing something new. So we are trying it from all fronts. Even with the young ones, yes, we haven't done it in the curriculum, but we create literature for the young ones, under Tini and Toto, that's for the primary kids, so that they can hear a little bit of tax. How does it work in a simplified way? We animate the literature, we put it in cartoons, so that it's enticing for them to read, because we want to be an all-inclusive.
In the last webinar, the comments we received were such that when we are with URA officials, they talk very nicely. They talk very nicely to an extent that you feel, wow, this is the person to deal with. But when they come to you in real practice, it's a different story. And that's what was hitting our social media all the time. How do you diffuse that kind of feedback? Because it's what overwhelmed the whole comment section.
Diffusing that is in a two-way. One, when we are doing the tax education, we should appreciate it's the carrot. It's a little softer. But when we are doing the enforcement, ideally it can't be like the carrot. It should be the stick. But by the time we enforce, sincerely we must have communicated to you, and things have failed. That is why at times we feel we need to be a little harder. But however, on the other side, I think we have a task to improve, because these are human beings that actually do the work. Because at times somebody comes with different issues on their mind, so the mood changes. We are trying to see that we work on all that, because we are basically training. We keep doing the trainings every now and then, equipping the young ones who come in, and basically telling them that ideally this person, ideally this is your employer. When these people don't pay taxes, you will not have a reason why you need to be employed anyway. So kindly handle them well, because as much as we need them this year, we need them the following year, because there is always a target, and government will need the money is moving forward. So it is a process. I can't say we will be good tomorrow, but each and every day at least we get positives to see that we are there. As I had told you, we were very, very far. Very, very far, but now you can sit somewhere and chat with somebody, and they feel, because even the knowledge itself, we've tried to create the knowledge available, the tax information. You know, when somebody is informed, it is something different. They know their rights, they know their obligations, they know how to navigate on certain things. So it's simpler that way than what it was when
those days
somebody could not even understand where they're starting from, but they're in business.
Maybe to add on what?
Before that, Madam Hafsah, this one said, if I don't ask this question, it will be a problem. It came from an audience before we just started. She says that how can paying taxes, be turned from a burden into an opportunity for an SME to start accessing financing, to start accessing contracts, to start seeing growth in their businesses. They are not really coming to follow what is actually coming through.
Thank you so much. How can we turn taxation into opportunities moving forward? Ideally, the first thing is, one, when we are trying to spread this knowledge, equipping the clients, they should know that, one, you only pay taxes when you've realized a profit. If there is no profit, ideally, Nobody has to come looking for you. But you should still do your duty of communicating to me and giving me your return, because this is your side. You're doing a self-assessment on yourself, a self-assessment. And by the way, when you do the self-assessment, it is what we are meant to take. Unless otherwise, when you have additional information. But you're meant to self-assess yourself. Just because some could be reluctant, and when they are reluctant, we come and chip in. Because we need to level the ground. That is one. Then two, if all of us pay a little, nobody would be paying much. That means I have to work a little harder to see that I widen the tax base. So that as I widen the tax base, we contribute something relatively fair so that it doesn't hurt your business a lot moving forward. And maybe the facilities, the other side is the facilities that we expect from government should be readily available. If it's a COVID relief, let it be clear so that everybody knows how to get it, because some at the end of the day say there was a relief, but getting it is woe. So at times when this client does not actually receive something from government, they feel they are cheated, they are paying for nothing. And maybe the services themselves, at least let them speak for themselves, so that I do not need to hustle, because Hafsah's mandate is restricted to assess, collect and account for your revenue, to create awareness, to attend to any other task or assignment given by the minister. So working on the social service, a social idea is not my part, but because I'm the one who picks the money from your pocket, so you tend to demand from me, yet equally I'm also waiting to demand from somebody else. So if everybody does their part, I think we'll be there. When I do my part, then the other agency does its part, the other ministry does its part. I think we'll be there, because we are all accountable to these citizens who give us the money.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Yes.
We are almost coming to the close. 1 hour is normally a short time. We cannot address all the issues. Madam Christina, comment on what you wanted to comment and give your part in short.
I wanted to comment on the other part where most taxpayers, by the way, these are most of them that have the tins of 10,000s, 1,000s, don't have their tins registered in their emails. They have other people's emails in there, so they don't get to receive these communications. And yet silence is where URA just comes and enforces, because somebody has been quiet for a long time. So URA assumes that people have been getting this communication. People have been, each has been given their CRMs, yet people are not even aware. They're not aware of what is going on, especially people downtown, even uptown. Yeah.
Okay, your part in short. Your part in short.
My part?
Your part in short. What would you want to leave the listeners with in terms of how to register, file, pay, and remain tax compliant?
So in my opinion, what Madam Hafsah said earlier, that if everybody does their part, everything would be okay. Taxpayers, filing is so simple. There is a lot of information everywhere. There are resources on YouTube and everywhere in many different languages. Like I said, make it easy for yourself to have a peaceful night where URA doesn't come for you, but exercise your rights and obligations, inquire, negotiate, talk to them, everything becomes easy. But if you keep there, keep quiet, quarrel and fraud your face from that side, nobody is going to know. And this is your business where you invest a lot. So put in the same effort to cooperate with the taxman, because tax is a cost. Just as you pay rent, please add it on your budget.
Thank you so much, Madam Christina. Your part in short.
Well, my part in short are very clear. I would like to thank the listeners, the viewers this evening, and I would like to thank our taxpayers at large. Thank you for giving us that money. Thank you for keeping in business. We know challenges are many, but you keep in there every day, every year. Thank you so much. We do appreciate. We really appreciate all that, but we request you to keep the communication. We have a social contract with you so that we can be able to deliver this country to economic independence.
Thank you so much, dear participants, dear viewers, dear listeners. This is what we could take in 1 hour, but we are always here every last Wednesday of the month, 6 to 7 p.m. But your questions and comments can be sent through our channels. We respond, we attempt to clarify where possible on our social media channels, and keep connected. We are here to financially learn, be inspired, and perform. See you next month, same time, same day, 24th September 2025. Thank you so much. Have a nice evening.